And speaking of petty spats, let's turn our attention to China and its latest provocations in the West Philippine Sea. There's been another flare-up between Beijing and Manila, and it's been caught on camera. The Chinese Coast Guard has been seen harassing Filipino ships that were undertaking a medical evacuation. This happened near Philippines territory, an area that China claims as its own. So Manila was carrying out a rescue operation. That's when Chinese vessels arrived. They blocked the Filipino boats and then they started bumping into them, hampering the rescue mission. All of this was caught on video. This incident took place last month, but the video has just been released. The Philippines has called China's acts barbaric and inhumane. Here's our report.
Barbaric and inhumane. That is how the Philippines described China's actions. On May 19th, the Philippines was attempting a medical evacuation in the West Philippine Sea. A Filipino boat was trying to reach a sick soldier, but before it could pick up the soldier, the boat was intercepted by the Chinese Coast Guard.
We're going to medevac some personnel. We're going to medevac. We have a sick personnel on that boat. We have a sick personnel on that boat. We're going to medevac.
You can clearly hear the Filipino rescue team. They said they were going to medevac some personnel, that they had a sick personnel in the boat. But the Chinese Coast Guard didn't care. They proceeded to harass the Filipino rescue team. The video plays out like a high-speed naval chase, with the Chinese forces in their orange vests and white skin protectors blocking off the Filipino team, cutting them off at every turn. Eventually, the Filipino rescue crew managed to reach the boat with the sick soldier. The soldier was trying to move from one boat to the other, and that's when the Chinese struck. They bumped into the boats in a clear attempt to harass the sick person. This is what the Philippines has called barbaric and inhumane behavior by the Chinese Coast Guard. What was China's response?
If they notify us in advance, we can allow the Philippines to transport living supplies to the grounded warship and evacuate relevant personnel. But they must not use this as an excuse to transport construction material to the grounded warship and attempt to permanently invade and occupy the reef.
Instead of apologizing, China is blaming the Philippines for the incident. The spokesperson said that the Philippines should have informed China about the medical evacuation in advance. You could clearly hear the Filipino crew in the video, telling the Chinese Coast Guard that it was a rescue mission. But that isn't good enough for Beijing. They want advance notice when the Philippines wants to save people in its own territory. The spokesperson talked about the Renai Reef. That's the Chinese name. In English, it's called the Second Thomas Shoal, or the Filipino name is the Ayungin Shoal. It's about 100 nautical miles away from the Philippines, clearly within their exclusive economic zone. But when has China cared about any law? Instead, Beijing spouts bogus claims based on some imagined imperial borders, their infamous 9-dash line. Beijing treats this as gospel, even though the Ayungin or Second Thomas Shoal clearly belongs to the Philippines.
We have submitted our assertions to rigorous legal scrutiny by the world's leading jurists. So the lines that we draw in our waters are not derived from just our imagination, but from international law.
The Philippines had to ground a ship at the shoal in 1999 to keep the Chinese at bay. The sick soldier was one of the people guarding that ship. Beijing has been trying to prevent airdrops of food from reaching the soldiers on that ship. And now China is trying to prevent medical evacuations as well. The world needs to pull up China for its escalations in the West Philippine Sea, because if there are no consequences, the next ill Filipino may not get help in time.
Firstpost reports from the world's second largest continent. Hello, I'm Alison Lagrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global south. Join me every weekday live on Firstpost.